Hello and welcome to We Random episode 33, recording April 2nd, 2021B. The Milwaukee Brewers are still on pace for 162-0, just like I said. How about that?
Almost Qualified Productions.
Let's get crazy!
Experts don't have this much fun.
Welcome to We Random, episode 33. I'm Brian. That's Christopher. Say hello to the people, Christopher.
Hello, people.
Hello, all you wonderful people. Welcome into We Random. We have our wonderful Wheel of Doom here. We're going to bring you some carefully selected topics. We're going to give you our opinions about them, and we're going to try not to yell too much. I can't promise on the yelling because that's kind of our shtick, right? But
kind of is.
We're going to do what we can to have an educated conversation with you, and it's going to be fun. What are your thoughts on that, Christopher?
I think it sounds good.
So we've got the topics. We also have the continuation of our Snacklet bracket. We are on to the last region today, and that's the spread region. So after this region, we will have our final four of competitors for this food bracket. And maybe,
I'm excited.
Just maybe, we'll have a good final four.
Maybe.
I don't know. But to get there, we got to get through this wheel first. So what do you say we get going and see what the wheel brings us?
Let's spin it up and see what we get.
Let's do it.
Hopefully I updated the wheel correctly. Oh, it looks like I did. We're going to talk about one of my favorite sports. Probably my favorite sport of all time be hockey and the NHL.
Hockey.
Let's talk about hockey.
So we're going to talk about the NHL. Referee Tim Peale will no longer work NHL games now or in the future after his comments about a Nashville penalty were heard on a hot mic during the Red Wings and Predators game. Peale, who has worked almost 1,400 regular season and playoff games, was due to retire at the end of the NHL season. After a Predators forward was called for tripping a Red Wings defender, Peale was heard on the broadcast saying, quote, "It wasn't much, but I wanted to get a fucking penalty against Nashville early before the audio cut out." Detractors to his actions say that you've got to call the game and that it is frustrating when referees make up calls or get even calls. And on the other hand, some say that referees need a feel for each game and to take opportunities to bring the temperature down in a game when they can. So, Christopher, what do you think about this?
I think if your game is so stupid that you need referees to calm the game down by calling penalties that don't exist, you probably got an issue with your game. I mean, that's what I'm thinking. Like, it's stupid, but we know it happens. We know it happens in every league and with every, referee umpire group. It's stupid. That's why I'm excited about the possibility of baseball going to balls and strikes being called by a fucking robot. At least the robot isn't going to play favorites, hopefully. Although we could have a lot of conversation about AI and how that is implicitly biased, but that's a different story altogether.
Right.
But yeah, I think we're gonna get these things. This has always happened. It's just the fact that this guy's dumb enough that he said it on a live mic. That's really the only reason this is news.
Right. And again, this is the latest hot mic controversy, right? There's like one a week at this point. And one thing that I read, this guy was like, "Oh, well, there's too many mics now and like officials can't have conversations with each other and blah, blah, blah." And I'm like, look, how about you actually call the game by the rule book and like don't just go, "Oh, crap, I made a bad call over here, so I'm going to have to make this call over there." Like, in some ways, I get it. I go by the Rasheed Wallace ball don't lie mentality, where when something bad happens, there's a correlating response where it evens out in the world. So, sometimes it's the ref, sometimes it's something that happens in the game, but I think in the end, ball don't lie. So if something bad happens, it'll even out.
Well, here's the thing. People are human. They're going to make a mistake. So if you fuck up a call, you don't have to make another call on the other side. It's like, hey, I screwed up, Just be consistent. NFC Championship game, just be fucking consistent.
Right.
That's all I got. Fuck the NHL.
Yeah, I mean, consistency. I mean, that's the thing, though. With any of this officiating. Like the consistency is the problem, and owning the consistency of it and saying, yeah, we were inconsistent. They'll like make up every excuse to say, oh, well, no, like that
Right.
was a penalty. And like, yes, it was a ticky tack penalty, but it was a penalty. Well, if we think about the letter of the law with a penalty, every time someone steps on a field, there's probably a penalty involved,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
Based on the way that these rules are written. So you need to write the rules in a way that they can be applied in a way that does not require a very specific high level of judgment. And I think that's what a lot of these people who are writing these rules miss. I always say, and I'm trying not to be offensive because I know that you write policies and procedures for a living, right? But
Yeah.
like there a lot of times the people that write the policies and procedures are not the people who have to administer the policies and the procedures.
True. It's very true. And I think that it takes a delicate hand, not to kind of pat myself on the back or anything. It takes a delicate hand to write these types of things, right? Because there's a balance between black and white and areas where there needs to be some gray area. And I think that
Right.
in a lot of these sports leagues, that just doesn't exist. I think the other thing
Right.
too is it's kind of a two-handed sword kind of thing. But like the NHL came down really hard and was like, this dude is never gonna ref a game again ever. Now the guy was also going to retire at the end of the year, so he's got like another month that he was going to work. So big fucking deal. But I think the fact that they were very decisive very quickly and said, "Look, this isn't okay. You're done." That's a good sign. Now, if he was a 32-year-old ref who maybe had another 15 years as a referee, would they have done that? Probably not. But it's interesting to see how quick they brought the hammer down on him.
Yeah, I would agree. It's definitely interesting, but we'll see if it actually translates into anything because there's a lot of bad refereeing and umpiring and things out there. I mean, we've even got another topic on this wheel
We do,
about
yeah.
bad umpiring. So,
Well, yeah, and I think that's another thing too that the NHL did is by acting very decisively against somebody who's going to be gone in a month anyway. They kind of quieted some of those conversations because again, I think if this was somebody who was going to be around for many more years, then how it was handled, when the person came back, when they left, all of that stuff would be dissected probably a lot more than it is right now because they just basically said he's gone, he's never coming back at the end of it. And then I think a lot of people probably look at that and go, okay, they're super serious about this. Well, maybe they are. Or maybe it was just really easy to write a guy off who's got like a month left in his career,
right. Or like on the flip side, they're just like, he didn't care anyway. He was on his way
Yeah,
out. So
right?
he's just out there doing the vigilante justice thing. Like, I don't like these people. And then, like, that's how people spin it too.
Dude,
So.
tell me that I got a month left in my job. I'm going to leave it at that. Let's spin the wheel.
If you had a month left at your job, that means you'd have 2 days.
Google. What are we Googling, B?
So Google is trying to get in the education game, but not really in the education game. So Google has a plan to disrupt the college degree. Recently, they announced the launch of new certificate programs designed to help people gain qualifications in high paying, high growth job fields without pursuing a college degree. Google's career certificates will include project management, data analytics, and user experience design, along with an associate Android developer certification. Google says they have established partnerships with more than 130 employers to hire graduates of the certificate programs. They also anticipate that most participants will finish within 6 months or less, putting the cost at about $240 for United States students. Some students may only need 3 months, cutting that cost in half. Google is offering 100,000 need based scholarships to individuals in the US who might be interested in seeking out these career certificates. So, this is a very interesting thing. Like, I work in higher education. So, this was something that when this came out, people were kind of like, oh, this is a little scary. And so I work with students going into IT, right? And I think for me, the interesting part about this is the IT field is unique, and that the IT field looks not only at your educational credentials, but they're going to look at your work experience. They're going to look at your industry certifications, and then they're going to look at all of that in like this big pile to determine if you are the most well-prepared candidate for this job. And every employer is going to be different. Some employers will say, I need you to have a degree that says computer science. Others will say, I don't care if your degree is in computer science, linguistics, English, Spanish. Can you write this code in SQL? Can you do X, Y, and Z? If you can, and you can show me that you can, you are hired on the spot. So I think something like this is really interesting from an IT field perspective, because while not every employer is going to value these certificates, there are some that will. So what are your thoughts on this, Christopher?
I think it's super exciting. Now keep in mind, I'm a person who's sitting here with a mountain of student loan debt, so that's an angle that I'm using at this too. But um, I think the thing that jumps out at me, first of all, the cost of it is amazing. The fact that Google is going to work with over 100 companies that they do business with to get people hired after they get this certificate is amazing, right? That's kind of the promise that you hear from like ITT Tech and like these technical schools that you hear about, is like, we're going to get you a job. And that's kind
ITT Tech no longer in business.
of whatever they are. Who cares? Any of those, Herzing or whatever, right? Those technical kind of colleges, it's the same kind of thing, right? Their whole shtick is come in here, get some education, and we're going to get you a job. And that's what Google's doing here. Now, I think it's important that you have to look at who this is aimed for, right? So my brother, for instance, who is a great individual, and in the industry that he's in, he's great. He does great stuff, but he's never had a higher education. Like, he's never had education above high school. So if he were to come in here and take this project management certificate course, is he going to be able to turn around and get hired as a project manager? Probably not. Now, maybe they'd be able to get his foot in the door somewhere as like an assistant project manager or something, that he could work up to it, possibly. But the fact that he's getting this certificate and Google is going to work with him to get him in somewhere, it might help him with that, right? Whereas I've got a master's degree in an unrelated field, but I've got a lot of experience doing project management type of stuff, but I don't have a project management degree. I don't have a project management certificate. But if I were to get this project management certificate and Google's now working on my behalf with some of these companies to get me hired somewhere, I have a pretty good feeling that I would get hired in as, if not a project manager, pretty damn close to a project manager based on the experience that I've got. So you have to understand kind of what your base is, where you're coming from. But I think it's super cool, and I think it opens up a lot of opportunities. And full disclosure, Google told me about this stuff about 1.5 years ago, and I've been waiting for them to come available because I'm kicking around signing up for one of these.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's really interesting. And from my perspective, working with students, like a lot of times I'll have students say, oh, I want to go on for a master's degree. And I say, look, if you want to go on for a master's degree, I'm totally okay with that. But what I'm also going to tell you is you need to get work experience, because these employers are going to look at you and they are going to evaluate not only your work experience, but your educational experience. If you walk into an interview with a bachelor's degree and a master's degree and zero work experience, they are going to consider you at the same level as a person who walks in there with an associate's degree in IT and no work experience, because they might value that work experience more than they value the educational experience. And it's kind of the same thing with these certificates and industry certification. Some employers will value the industry certification more than they'll actually value an educational credential. So that's the delicate balance of IT that I think a lot of people don't understand, because something like this is going to be valuable, because they're going to want to know that you can walk in the door with these 5 to 7 technical skills in project management, UX, UI, things like that, and jumpstart that career in IT. And that company is going to teach you about their infrastructure. What they don't have time to teach you is these foundational skills that hopefully Google is going to give you.
Yeah, I think this is just the start. Like I haven't looked into the super details of these too much. I looked into them a little bit from a personal standpoint, now from a podcast standpoint. But there's a handful of courses, like 4 or 5 courses, I think, for the certificate. So that's not a college degree, right? It's not college education. So I think the people that this is aimed towards is a little bit of a different audience. But I also think there's a lot of people, either A, who may be in a position like I may be in, or maybe I am, or maybe I'm not, where you're looking at a career, maybe a career change. Maybe things have kind of stalled where you're at. Maybe you're looking at maybe trying something new. Maybe you've got a lot of varied experience in a lot of different areas, and this could give you a little bit of a leg up in one of those areas that you're interested in. Maybe you're someone who just can't do school, right? Maybe school just isn't your thing. But you know what? If I can, button it down for 6 months and get into one of these certificate courses and get a certificate, on the other hand, on the other side of that, there may be a job waiting for me. Maybe that's worth a couple $100. Instead of going out to eat 3 times a month, maybe I just do this. I think there's a lot of possibility there, and this could very well just be the start, and they could just turn this around and blow it up into all sorts of different things. I mean, just think of how huge Google is and all of the employment possibilities they have. Because don't think that they're not taking the right of first refusal here, right? They're going to be the first people that are looking at hiring these individuals. So if you think about all the different things that Google has their hands in, like there's an enormous opportunity of different programs or certificates that they could offer. So I think it's super awesome.
I agree. And it's one of those things where they have to have that employer buy-in, because if there's no employer buy-in, what's the point? So it's good that they've got that going too.
Yeah. Plus, I mean, we're overlooking the elephant in the room. This is just more data Google gets on all of us, right? That's what they're in the business of.
Well, all right. There is that.
Spin in the wheel. Oh, B, I think this is your favorite story.
Is it?
Do you want to buy an NFT?
I don't know. I mean, maybe I do, maybe I don't. So we're talking about NFTs, huh?
Yes, we are.
All right. So Croatian tennis player Sandra Olinkova, I'm sure I pronounced that incorrectly, and I'm sorry, but is taking the NFT market to a new level. Instead of selling a digital collectible, the 20-year-old has sold exclusive lifetime ownership to part of her right arm for more than $5,000 on the NFT marketplace OpenSea. Sandra sold a 6-inch by 3-inch section of skin between her elbow and shoulder on the inside of her right arm, where the owner can now commission a tattoo or temporary piece of body art. There are only a few restrictions to the purchase, including no art or messaging that includes extremism or gambling or betting content, as to not violate tennis regulations. The owner can also decide to leave the patch of skin blank or resell it at a later time. So Sandra says about this is the first NFT of its kind ever created and sold. It is part of sports history, not as a tattoo, but as a successful attempt of an individual athlete to directly interact with their fan base. In several years, other athletes will use NFTs and career tokens, but I will always be the first to have done it. So, what do you think about this, Christopher? I know you're all about the NFTs. So, how does this make? Would you want to buy a space on someone's body, or would you want to sell a space on your body as an NFT?
I was just gonna say, if you didn't go there, I'm gonna have NFTs up for sale pretty soon. So get your wallets ready, get that ether ready, send it over my way.
I mean, that could be the next thing that we do for raising money for the kids. You can sell
that's right.
parts of your body as an NFT. So it's like you can buy the other. You know what's going to happen? Jeff is going to buy your other wrist and make you put a Cubs tattoo on there.
He would totally do that. I think, why not? Is it a little bit different and a little bit weird? Sure. But, I mean, she put some small stipulations on it, right? By Sconsi's left eyebrow. So I mean, like she won't do gambling stuff because that violates something with the tennis organization, and you can't do anything. I don't remember what the word was, but harassment or something like that. I mean, why not do that? And the thing the article mentioned, and I was multitasking, so I'm not sure if you mentioned this, but this has been done before. I know the article mentioned Bernard Hopkins, and that's back when I actually watched boxing. But I remember that match, and I don't remember. I think it was on his chest or something. It was like written across his chest, like Nintendo or whatever the hell it was that bought basically the advertising on the guy. It was like, what the? Are you fucking kidding me? He's like got advertising on his chest, for God's sake. But why not? I mean, people are looking at him, right? That's the whole point of advertising. So. Yeah, I mean, you know what? More power to her. I think it's an interesting and original kind of idea of doing something like that. I don't know. It's different. I think we just got to give her credit for thinking outside the box and saying, "Hey, let's go for this."
Right. I mean, and you're talking about body billboards. Those were a trend in the early 2000s where folks could earn anywhere from $5,000 to even $100,000 to wear a temporary tattoo or like piece of art, right? And it is really innovative. And, for her, it sounds like she's a tattoo person, like she likes tattoos and things like that. So this is just going to be another one for the collection, so to speak, right?
Yeah.
And it's kind of like a roulette wheel where it's like, hey, you as the owner of this space can decide what I get here. So depending on whether that person is like a fan of hers or not, like, it presents very interesting opportunities. But hey, it's unique. And again, what something is only worth what people will pay for it.
Yeah, for
So
sure.
obviously someone paid $5,000 for this. So it's going to be $5,000 or whatever cut of it that she gets that's going to help her continue to fund her career.
Well, the thing is, all these payments go through Ether, which is basically backed by Ethereum, right? So, like any cryptocurrency, that could skyrocket. I mean, Bitcoin's gone crazy in the last few years. So, the $5,000 or whatever it is that she got, I think it was like $5,400 or something. It could be worth 10,000 in a year, or it could be worth $50 in a year. I mean, you never really know. But so that's an interesting part of it too. But yeah, I give her credit for coming up with a new idea, and it's interesting to see where this is going to go, right? Because who knows what the next person's going to do.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously there's going to be some restrictions. Like I'm pretty sure the NFL and the NBA and those really big leagues have all sorts of rules on what you can or can't do. For Christ's sake, the NFL
Right.
has rules that you can't wear a certain headphone when you're walking into the stadium or something. For God's
Yeah,
sake,
like
so
you can't wear this brand of sock or this
yeah,
brand of cleat,
exactly.
but
So there's
but
no way
Emily
you're going
does
to be
raise a
able
good
to, no way you're going to be able to, put a tattoo of whatever on the side of your face on the
right.
NFL.
But Emily does raise a good question. Would a Zeke Elliott's "Feed Me" tattoo be considered an NFT, and how much would it
Zeke
sell
Elliott,
for?
feed me of the week.
Well, I think it's already there. I think it's already there. But the
Yep.
size of that tattoo, man, I think you'd have to really pony up.
Yeah.
I mean,
Mm.
or once Dak Prescott comes back and that team wins 3 games this year, then maybe he'll be looking for money. I don't know.
I don't know. I mean, it's interesting though. Like I never thought, hey, I would sell my right arm for $5,000. But I mean, again, it's a very interesting income stream too.
Yeah, for sure. And I think, and I'd have to go back and I'd look it up, but I believe she's fairly successful. She's not on the main APT tour, but she's on like a smaller tour that's kind of, it's like a AAA kind of thing, leading people up. And I think she's
Yep.
fairly successful. So, it could just be like buying into a minor league player who may blow up,
Right.
right? She might be the next Serena Williams for all we know. And now all of a sudden you own this piece of her arm, for God's sake. I mean,
Mhm.
who knows what you could put on there, right? I mean, that could turn into be an enormous, you know, an enormous something something. And no, Jeff, you're not buying my left wrist.
You'll just sell your butt cheek, right? Then he can put
That, you
it
know what?
on there.
You could do that. You could do that. That's where they belong.
All right, I think it's time to go to the next
I'm
topic.
pretty sure Jeff, who just showed up in the chat, has no idea what we're talking about. So he's gonna have to go back and listen to understand why that's funny. But I'm spinning the wheel.
True.
Pew 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 research. What's up with the pew 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 research?
The Pew 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 research. All right. A study released by Pew Research shows some interesting discrepancies in how people perceive discrimination against certain groups in the United States. 12,000 adults were surveyed in early March based on their participation in the American Trends Panel, which is an online survey run through Pew Research. One area that differentiated how groups perceive discrimination is their political affiliation. For example, those who identify as Republican are much more likely than Democrats to say that there is a lot of discrimination against white people in society today. 26% of Republicans said that white people face a lot of discrimination, while just 4% of Democrats said this. Democrats are also much more likely than Republicans to say that women face at least some discrimination, while Republicans are more likely to see discrimination against men. So there were lots of data sets and lots of things that I kind of pulled out of this, but I was like, let's just stop. have a general conversation, and then if there's any random stuff that comes up, we can always pull up the article and like look at these graphs, because there are just like graph upon graph upon graph. And like for me, I was surprised 0% by anything that was in this study, and maybe that makes me the wee random dick of the week, but I was 0% surprised, because it's like, yes, we at this point live in a society where people identify themselves by political affiliation, and they want their political affiliation to win, and they want the people in their political affiliation to be recognized, and when they feel like they're not, they think that that's discrimination and all that.
All right. Just stop for a second. Let's boil this down to this one graph where it says this is the percentage of people that say there is blank, a lot or some discrimination against each group in our society. This is all we need to hear about. Republican leaning individuals. 17% of people said there is a lot of discrimination against black individuals. 17%. 26% of them said there's a lot against white people. What the fuck are you people smoking? Are you fucking kidding me? Like, I was going to try to not swear on this podcast. I set that up earlier today. I'm like, I need to just stay calm and not get pissed off and fucking swear at these fucking people. But fuck you. Almost twice as many people said that white people are discriminated against more than black people. Are you fucking kidding me? Why? Because you can't go to McDonald's without wearing a fucking mask? Is that your goddamn problem? You're not getting shot outside McDonald's, for fuck's sake. Get the fuck out of here. Are you kidding me? What the fuck is with these people? You gotta be fucking kidding me. What?
I should have counted how many times you swore there.
Oh my God.
So that I know how many times you have to bleep yourself when you make that our little 90-second video snippet. But I mean, that's why I say none of this surprises me, right? It's like, oh, well, I as a white man am oppressed, but no, women aren't repressed, or, black people aren't discriminated against, or Asians and Latinos aren't discriminated against, but I as a white man am discriminated against because I like to identify with Donald Trump. And it's like, people don't see out of their own buckets at this point, and it's because people want to win and they want to be part of this winning team culture. And if your team is under attack, quote unquote, that means that people are discriminating against you.
Yeah, it's so insane, and it's worth, if this is something that interests you, chat, it's worth clicking on the link there that old man Wiggum put in the chat and then looking at this, because it's fucking mind blowing. But this is a list where they show like all the different groups, and this is the people who the types of people that they group together, the percentage that they say there is a lot of discrimination, right? So we already talked about the Republicans feel like there's a lot of discrimination on white people. 26%. You want to know what groups fall in under the 26%? Do you want to hear what groups are less discriminated against? You want to hear what groups need to count their fucking blessings because they're not held to the they're not discriminated against like white people. Are you ready for this? Black people, we already talked about that. What about Muslims? Absolutely. How about gay people? Not discriminated against as much as white people? No fucking way. Hispanics, Asians, women, Jew, evangelical Christians even. Fucking all of these groups not as discriminated against as white people, because god damn it, white people, we got it fucking rough. I don't even know how the fuck we managed to live in this world with the discrimination against us. I don't even know. I don't know what to do, B. I'm gonna lock my doors and never leave again because I'm a white guy, and clearly that means I'm gonna get shot the second I walk outside my fucking door. Fuck you people.
I mean, I'm gonna step away, but I mean, look at it, like you said, evangelical Christians. Like, some of these people honestly feel like someone who is a Christian is discriminated against more than a person of minority, right?
For the record, evangelical Christians was the second highest rated, just behind white people. So they believe that evangelical Christians are also more discriminated against than black people, Muslims, gays and lesbians, Hispanic people, Asian people, women, and Jews. Just for the record. Like this
Again,
is
and
just this is just like some crazy, I don't know what the word is, like internalism, right? Like just woe is me kind of attitude. That's all this is. It's because and this is a generalization, of course, but these are people who look at the very smallest light that through their fucking tunnel vision and say, "Oh my God, I have to wear a fucking mask at fucking McDonald's? Like, oh my fucking God, I don't want to wear a mask. Why are you fucking discriminating against me just because I'm a white person with a fucking Jesus cross? Like, fuck you."
But I
What?
mean, it's not even that. It's all of this. It's Dr. Seuss. It's the, WAP thing. It's like all of these things where people will
Yeah.
say like, "Oh, well, we are canceling this, but you're allowing that, so that's discrimination against me." And like, it's just like I said, I am 0% surprised at this point. Like, not
Uh,
surprised at all.
I'm not
And it's one of those
surprised, but
things.
I'm still fucking infuriated because these are like real people. And who knows how many of these people might have just been fucking with a survey, right? I mean, there's a margin of error there, but like these are real people. Like these are the people that we live next to. These are the people that you're standing in line at the grocery store next to, except for me because I order my groceries. These are the people that are delivering your fucking pizza, right? These are
The people delivering your groceries.
this is everybody, and it's just infuriating that there's this many people out there that I'm sorry, I 100% refuse to believe that this is just ignorance. This is people willfully closing an eye, turning their eye to the actual problems that are happening in this country. And that's just fucking disgusting. I don't have another word to say for it.
Yep. That's all I got. I mean, I told you what I think. I think that I am 0% surprised, and it's only going to get worse before it gets better, right?
Yeah.
Like,
Well, I just spun the wheel because I dropped like 173 F-bombs there. I think we need to go to something that can bring some more F-bombs because we're talking about the MLB All-Star Game, B.
oh no.
Let's do it.
All right. So, speaking of things that are things, Major League Baseball is moving the 29,000, right? The 2021 All-Star Game out of Atlanta in response to Georgia's new law that has civil rights groups concerned about its potential to restrict voter access to people of color. In a statement released by MLB, Commissioner Rob Manfred says, "Over the last week, we have engaged in conversations with clubs, players, the Players Association, and the Players Alliance, among others, to listen to their views. I have decided that the best way to demonstrate our values as a sport is by relocating this year's All-Star Game and MLB Draft from Atlanta." So basically, MLB is working on confirming a new site, and they're going to announce that soon. But the thing is, they don't want to give the state of Georgia the money that the MLB All-Star Game would generate because Georgia has decided to make it more difficult for minority voters to vote. So, Christopher, what
Yeah.
was your initial gut reaction to this?
Fuck yeah, man. Fuck Georgia and all their bullshit. Like we haven't talked about the Georgia stuff. I don't know if we talked about it at all, but there's way too much. Like that's like 2 or 3 topics in and of itself. But basically the let's be honest, Republican legislature and Republican governor pushed through some pretty stupid fucking rule changes for voting. Some of them don't seem horrible. Like I read through it earlier today. Some of it isn't super horrible, but some of it is just downright dumb. Like this is they closed down a bunch of polling stations to make it harder for people. They changed locations. Now, if you go to the wrong location, you can't vote. They tell you have to go to the other location. You're waiting in line for hours and hours on end. They made it illegal to give people food and water while they're standing in line. I mean, this is fucking Atlanta where it could be like 80, 90 degrees. People are standing in line for hours on end. It's illegal to give them water. It's just really, really, really stupid things. And this is 100% the MO of the Republican fucking party, which is make it difficult for people to vote, especially people who are part of, what's the word I'm looking for? Like,
So the people who aren't discriminated against?
no, the people that are.
But that poll just told us that they're
that's
not.
That's true. That's true. But basically people that don't find it very easy to vote, right? A lot of minorities and older people. And honestly, who are they going to vote for? They lean pretty hard to the left. So Republicans, historically, everywhere, they try to make it harder for people to vote because if less people vote, then Republicans generally get voted in, right? I tried to sum that up as quickly as I could. So the point is, the fact they pushed all this bullshit through, I think it's great. I think it's great that the All-Star Game is pulling out. I believe that Marvel or Disney, I think Disney said they're not making movies in Georgia anymore, which is enormous. Because if you watch any of those Marvel movies and you actually watch the end credits, which they want you to do to watch their super special extra credit thing on the end, it says thank you to Georgia. There's a big fucking picture of the state of Georgia because they film all that shit in Georgia. Disney, I believe, is pulling out of Georgia as well. That's a shit ton of money that Georgia's losing out on. Now, hopefully, that raises some awareness, and hopefully they open their fucking eyes to it. I don't know if they're going to care because in the end, the only thing that Republicans are seeing is the fact that they lost two very, very, very close Senate races in Georgia in this last election. That's all they see. So all they're seeing is, hey, if we get like 5,000 people that can't vote because we're making it super difficult on them, great, now we get elected. And that's bullshit. It's 100% garbage. So yeah, I think it's great that these companies are saying, fuck you, we're taking our shit and we're going home because you don't deserve the extra money and attention that you would get if this is the way you're treating people.
Yeah, and so I have multiple thoughts about this. One is the unfortunate part about them pulling out of Georgia is they are mostly harming the Atlanta community, which is probably one of your more demographically needy communities in the fact that a lot of people of minority live there, right? So you are hurting that community by taking that funding and the spending out of Atlanta. Now, the Braves are like, oh, we're so disappointed by this, where the Braves already have what many people would consider to be a racist chant and a racist, kind of in-game pedagogy anyway. So they have no stones to throw at this point, right?
Right.
But I think MLB also has no stones to throw. When you have 8% of your players in all of your teams are black, you need to do a better job of, recruiting and retaining black talent. If you're talking about wanting to advocate for people from minority groups, you need to start at home and you need to start, getting more black talent into your baseball game. There's a lot of people in MLB who are white. There's a lot of people in MLB who honestly lean towards the Republican side of the spectrum. So I'm sure that, your friends Chase Anderson and Christian Yelich and these other guys who lean to the right, they're probably all mad about this. But whatever, it is what it is. You know what I'm waiting for, Christopher? You know what I'm waiting for?
No, tell me.
I'm waiting for MLB to give this game to Minneapolis and to say, you know what? We want to help Minneapolis rebuild their community after the George Floyd situation
Go
and
for it.
after the riots in Minneapolis. And the way that we're going to do that is we're going to bring the All-Star game there. We're going to infuse money into the Minneapolis community. And then people are going to lose their fucking mind and it's going to be great.
Good. That'd be great. For the record, the mayor of Milwaukee did send off an official request to MLB to have it come to Milwaukee, since this would be an amazing way to honor the memory of the late, great Hank Aaron, who played part of his career in Milwaukee. So that's very exciting. I am going to take umbrance with one thing you said, though, is that MLB should start with their own house and deal with their own backyard, et cetera, et cetera. Sure, MLB has problems to fix, but the key is you need to start. Period. I don't give a fuck where you start, but start somewhere. I think this is a great place to start to actually make a stand. I think moving the game to Minneapolis is a good idea. I think that'd be great if they do that. I'd love it if they came to Milwaukee too, but shit, Minneapolis makes a lot of sense. Go ahead and do that. And I think that's another way, to your point, that they could actually come up and make a big statement and a big stand and say, this is why we're doing it. Like don't just move it there quietly and say, well, we needed a place for it to go. So Minneapolis works. No, if you're going to do that, make it a statement, assuming that's what their intention is, right?
Yeah, I mean that's why honestly Milwaukee doesn't deserve it, because Milwaukee and Wisconsin has their own problems with trying to make it harder for minority people to vote, for trying to make things terrible on minorities. So I don't think Wisconsin deserves it. So that's where I think it would be good for.
Well, here's the problem, B, is if you look at every legislature in this entire state, anywhere that Republicans hold any kind of power, they are restructuring things. They're gerrymandering things. They are doing everything they can to cut the ability to vote universally. So what are we going to do? Just move it to Mexico? I mean, there they only kill politicians. So, it might be a little bit better. I don't know.
But that speaks more to the failing of the American political system, doesn't it?
Yeah, well, we don't got enough time to talk about all that bullshit.
Well, there is that, but I do like the Minneapolis idea, and that's where I'm going to leave it.
All right, I'm good with that too. Looks like my brother
Cool.
just got timed out in chat, so I don't know. He was doing something stupid apparently. Let's spin the wheel.
He
Well,
must have been
welcome
very
in for
mad
your
about
first
my-
visit to the podcast, T. And you just got timed out. You know what, B? I need to start exercising some more, and the one thing I used to really enjoy is walking. But I think before I can go out and really start walking, I need some new shoes. Do you have any suggestions on some new shoes that I can get that, you know, something put a little pep in my step? Maybe you know, help me get moving a little bit.
So what I don't recommend is that you take a pair of shoes that you buy from a retailer and you modify it and then you sell it as your own.
Did you really have to start there? Because you know that's one of the things that really gets my ass on this one.
Well, we're going to get it then. So
Let's do it.
shoe modifier MSCHF is in hot water after Nike filed a trademark infringement complaint against them for a Satan shoe release in collaboration with rapper Lil Nas X. The shoes are a modified version of Nike's Air Max 97s with satanic symbolism. In reply to the lawsuit, Lil Nas X said, quote, "People make customs all the time. It's never been a problem. Nike only stopped the sale of the shoe because a powerful group of people pushed them to do so. Nike says that the company materially altered its trademarked product without permission." So, since you talked about this being, quote, all up in your ass, tell us what you got on this, Christopher.
You know, I don't know who Nas X is, or Lil Nas X, or whatever the hell his name is. I don't know who he is. I got nothing. I got no, you know, issue there. I don't know who he is. Apparently he did, what was that song? Old Town Road or some shit that was super popular a few years ago. And he came out as gay, and a lot of people have problems with that because Old Town Road's kind of a country song. You know, country people, they don't like gay people. It's just it's not how it works. So there's all that kind of stuff. And apparently the video that he came out with in the song is kind of about that and some of the issues that he had coming out and all that kind of stuff. But then the shoe, I think the whole thing is marketing genius as far as I'm concerned, because that's all anybody's talked about for like the last week. But Nike decided to sue him and this company over this shoe. And a lot of people, including the governor of South Dakota, came out to talk about what a horrible person he is and how we need to protect the souls of our children. Give me a fucking break on that. But here's the funny thing is 2 years ago, this exact same company came out with a modded pair of Nike shoes that were Jesus shoes. Had a little cross on them and everything. Nobody threw a fit about the Jesus shoe. Nike didn't sue them over the Jesus shoe. The governor of South Dakota didn't have anything to say about the Jesus shoe. So what the fuck? What just because a couple people get bent their panties in a wad because you're saying something? I mean, God forbid you should talk about the invisible man under the ground. If you talk about the invisible man in the sky, that's okay. If you talk about the invisible guy with the big fluffy white beard who sits on the cloud and he throws lightning bolts, that's okay. That guy's okay. You could talk about that invisible man. But if you talk about the invisible man with the horns, you can't do that. We don't talk about the invisible man with... Get the fuck out of here. This is the whole Christian right-wing garbage. Maybe this isn't right-wing. It's fucking right-wing. Evangelical Christian bullshit. Like, get over yourselves, people. Like, really? And the fact that we need to save the souls of our children. Like, you know what? If you want to worship, fine. If you want to get on your knees on Sundays and sing whatever those stupid hymns are that you sing, fine. If you want to eat stale crackers and drink horrible wine, great, do that, enjoy it. I don't give a shit, but don't try to push your stupid ass cult agenda on everybody else. Like, are these weird shoes? Like, is it kind of dumb or stupid or weird that they put blood in the shoe? Yeah, like, I don't, who the fuck cares? But, you know, the comment that I made to try to start a fight on Facebook, which unfortunately didn't start a fight and really ruined my week, is that Christians have killed a whole fuck of a lot more people and caused a whole lot more fucking issues in the history of the world than Satanists ever have. Like the Crusades, end of story, right? Like, we're done. So get off your damn high horses and just fucking, like, I don't even know how I'm going to end this, B. I'm just irritated, but everyone knew that was going to be the case anyway.
It's true. I mean, people are just mad because Miley Cyrus is out here posting pictures of her wearing the shoes, right? And
Nice. I love Miley Cyrus. She's my girl.
so I don't know. It's just interesting, right? Because like this to me reminded me of the story that we did months ago of the brewery who used like
Yep.
something from Hershey's, and Hershey's was like, no, you can't do that. Like technically, yes, Nike is in the right, but they haven't done it before. So like, what's changed, right? So it's kind of like the number one thing is don't use other people's intellectual property, but also don't kind of pick and choose when you want to be responsible for your intellectual property.
Be consistent, NFC Championship game. That's all I'm fucking saying. Be
Consistency.
fucking consistent.
What's that?
Like, and I don't even know if they have a leg to stand on with this lawsuit. I'm not a fucking lawyer, but like the thing that really irritated me is just the double standard. Like, I'm not a Satanist. I don't give a fuck about Sataning. Like Satan and studying and fucking worshiping Satan is as stupid as fucking worshiping God as far as I'm concerned. Don't worship fucking anybody. Like just worry about your fucking self. And if you want to worship God, fine. I don't care. But do it in your own fucking house. I just the way that and Jeff, you're still listening. Your ears are probably on fire and steam coming out now. But like just the way that especially these religious fucking cults, and that's what it is. You call it whatever you want, but it's a fucking cult. The way that they a lot of them try to push their agenda on other people, just stop. And I mean, we've had all this, separation of church and state in this country, but it's never truly been there. Like, in God we trust is on our fucking money, for God's sake. So these people believe that they run this country, and it's just dumb. Sooner or later, you'll pay attention to what I say. Oh, I mean, I pay attention. I just don't listen.
All right. Well, now that we've gotten all of that out of our system, we're at a point where we can do one more topic, or we can throw a challenge flag to make sure we get a topic in that we want. What are your thoughts here, Chris?
Let me see what's still on the list here. We got all gas, no brakes. Well, we can talk about that tomorrow too. Minnesota, I don't remember what that's about.
That was the one that made my brain explode because, but that's fine.
Why did your brain explode?
Because they're basically like, it's on you if you get drunk.
Oh, God. Okay, let's save these for tomorrow. We're going to have a really good extra time tomorrow, I think, unless you want to throw a flag.
No, so we're just spinning and whatever comes up, comes up.
We'll spin, we'll do one more.
They lost my video. My video has gone away.
Oh, that's because I did something stupid over here. It's back.
I'm no
You're
longer
good.
there.
No, it's me. It's not you. You're good. Yeah, let's spin it, and then hopefully we don't get all gas, no brakes. We'll talk about that tomorrow. Oh, this is perfect. We're gonna talk about Brian's favorite Major League Baseball umpire.
All right. So, Angel Hernandez's racial discrimination suit has been thrown out. So, Angel Hernandez, one of the most controversial and least popular umpires in baseball, had his discrimination lawsuit against Major League Baseball thrown out by a judge in New York City. Hernandez.
New York City? Sorry.
New York City. So, Hernandez filed the suit in 2017, alleging that he had been passed over for promotions and professional honors because of his race. Hernandez's suit targeted MLB Chief Officer Joe Torre for not promoting him to crew chief or giving him coveted World Series assignments. U.S. District Judge dismissed his case, saying that Hernandez's handful of cherry-picked examples does not reliably establish any systemic effort on MLB's part to artificially deflate Hernandez's evaluations, much less an effort to do so in order to cover up discrimination. So what I will say about Angel Hernandez is that he is not a good umpire. He is one of the people that is part of the ump show. And anybody who watches baseball knows that the reason he's not promoted is not because of his race. It's because he's not good at his job. Period. Do you disagree, Christopher?
I don't have anything to add. I mean, you get promoted because you do a good job. Like, this fucking guy should just be thankful he still has a fucking job. I mean, He is trash. It's not just that it's not just that he's not good. He is actively bad. He shouldn't have a job. Like, get out of here being, discriminated against that you're not getting promoted. Like, get out of here. Yeah,
So,
I got nothing more for that guy.
Yeah, like I mean, it's good because again, we see that he's not good at his job. So,
Yeah.
but then he'll just be mad about stuff and he'll take that on the field and get
Yeah.
chippy with players and be like, you're not gonna promote me. I'm not. He needs to be like the NHL guy where he just retires and goes away.
That would be great. All right. Well, I think what we'll do is we'll move on. This leaves us 3 pretty interesting topics that we can touch on tomorrow. One very good news story, one very angry bee's going to get mad, and then one that is just kind of an interesting kind of new age media story. So just for those, for awareness, for those who don't know, there's a Patreon that you can sign up for that supports the stream here. Old Man Wiggum's going to share that link in the chat, I think, probably. But so the Patreon, what we do is on certain levels, because there's different levels you can subscribe to, we put out an extra podcast episode every week. And the idea is generally we go over topics that we haven't covered, but sometimes we come up with something completely new. Like last week, Brian and I just talked about our history with baseball, what we love about baseball, how we got into baseball, etc. So, so tomorrow we'll talk about these 3 topics. I think all 3 of them are important and they'll be good to go through. But Brian, before we do that, are we going to jump into the thing I had to hit the sound for, or are we going to go into what you got in red text on the run sheet?
Let's do the thing that you got to hit the sound for.
All right, then I guess it is officially time for
Random Rankings. Yes, it is time for Random Rankings. So, for those of you who have been following the show, you know that we have been continuing to work through the March Madness Snacklet 8 bracket. So
easy for you to say.
We've made it through the dip bracket where hummus and pita bread is our final 4 entrant. We made it through the dish bracket where ice cream and brownie is the final 4 entrant. We've also made it through the handful bracket where cheddar popcorn and caramel popcorn became our final 4 entrants. So today, Christopher, we are working through the spread region. So in the spread region, here are the rules. If Sconzi and I agree, that item moves on. If Sconzi and I disagree, the chat will decide which item moves on.
I like it.
Any other things you want to address with the people before we get started here?
No, just say that what we're going to do is, did we go over what won the other ones? I was trying to get this set up.
I did. I went over what won the other ones.
We got hummus, Chicago popcorn, the ice cream brownie. All right, I say the only thing that I would add is what we're going to do is we're going to break this down. We're going to get it down to the final 4, and next week we're gonna work through the final 4, and maybe we'll have a second special random ranking since final 4 should be over pretty quickly. So I say we just jump in. B, what do you say?
Let's do it. What do we got?
All right, so the number 1 seed is apples and peanut butter. The number 16 seed is trash. I mean, I'll tell you the actual, it's radishes, radishes and butter. I love fucking radishes, but who the fuck puts butter on radishes?
I mean, this entire bracket is what can you put peanut butter on? What can you put butter on? what can you put Nutella on?
Yeah, this is kind of dumb. But I already marked apples and peanut butter because if you choose radishes and butter, we got issues.
I'm choosing apples and peanut butter. Let's just move on.
All right. We got pickles and cream cheese and dates and goat cheese. What?
I have a very love-hate relationship with cheese, so neither of these interests me. I'll go with the pickles because at least there's pickles.
Yeah, pickles and cream cheese. And you know, the only thing I'm thinking of is if my brother's still out there, cover your ears, but my brother's ex-wife made these little, like, it was like ham roll-ups, like ham with cream cheese and pickles or some shit like that. Dude, they were so good. So that's kind of what I'm thinking. So I think that works. Radishes and salt. That's a good one. I like that. All right. So we've got Oreos and peanut butter, English muffins and jam. Now this one, This one's all right. This one, I don't know. This could go either way. B, what do you think?
You know how I feel about Oreos. I'm going with the English muffin and jam.
Oh, this is. We might have to go to chat on this one because I love my Oreos. I don't think I've never put Oreos in peanut butter because I'm not super big on peanut butter.
Yeah, I've never done that, but I would definitely want English muffins and jam before.
I think I would too, but just for the sake of all the people we got in chat, I'm going to go with Oreos and we're going to see what chat says. So chat,
right.
You're up. Pick between the Oreos and peanut butter and the English muffin and jam. We've already got one vote for the English muffin, so Emily has good sense.
I mean, basically, you're trying to figure out if apples and peanut butter gets an undefeated run to
pretty
the
much,
last
pretty much.
round or not.
Jeff and Wiggum are also in on the muffin, so the muffin's definitely going through.
All right.
All right, we got Ritz crackers and pimento
muffin was
cheese.
a clean sweep.
Yeah, muffin's clean sweep for sure.
All right.
Ritz crackers and pimento cheese, or flamin' hot Cheetos and cream cheese. I mean, we're going opposite on this one. I can already tell.
I'm going to Ritz crackers.
Yeah, I'm going flamin' hots, baby. Give me my flamin' hot Cheetos. All right, chat. You're up. Flamin' hot Cheetos. You know that's the right answer.
So have you tried this flamin' hot Cheetos with
No,
cream
but
cheese?
I can already tell that would be fire, man.
I mean, I feel like it would reduce the heat. So like, why would you want that?
No, because you only put the cream cheese on one part of it, so you still have half of it that's going to burn your face off, and then the other part going to cool it out.
All right, so it looks like Ritz is winning 3-1.
Oh man, y'all let me down. All right, Ritz is winning. All right, we got chocolate chips and peanut butter. Now, keep in mind this is the spread category, so basically you're putting chocolate chips on a plate and you're spreading peanut butter over it, or pretzel twists and Nutella. Why did I even go through explaining that? Clearly, pretzel twists and Nutella wins this, right?
I mean, I think it has to, right?
Yeah, like I don't even know why I explained that if I would have read the second one there. We've got banana bread and Nutella, or fucking mini toast and pate.
What is pate?
It's like fucking duck liver, man.
Oh no, then we're going with banana bread. Come on.
Yeah, like nobody wants that shit. Chocolate chips and peanut butter for Emily. Really? Okay.
I can see it.
All right, we've got banana and peanut butter. That's pretty classic. Or graham crackers and peanut butter.
I'm going to go with the banana and peanut butter just because it's a little bit of a different texture than the graham crackers and peanut butter.
Yeah, see, I think the banana and peanut butter is a better flavor. But are you going to how do you spread peanut butter on a banana?
You cut the banana open and you basically do it like you would ants on a log, except you don't have the crevice for celery. You just cut it in half, eat.
I don't think that would work. I'm going with graham crackers. I'm going graham crackers. So we've got 2 graham crackers and a banana. Is T still out there? T might put us at a big tie here. We'll give him a second. Graham crackers and frosting, but are you going graham crackers and peanut butter? That's the question. Graham crackers and Nutella is amazing, though. Like, that would run through this whole thing.
I feel like graham crackers is going to end up winning here.
Yep. Crackers. All right, crackers wins. And then ignore this yellow right here. We got fresh bread and butter or bagel chips with chive and onion cream cheese. These two are probably the 2 best in the whole bracket. How did they get stuck together?
I mean, again, I'm not a huge fan of cream cheese, right? I always say, I think I'm just weird about dairy. Let's just put it that way, because I always say the only time I want milk is in my coffee. The only time I want cream cheese is in my desserts, right? So I'm going with the bread and butter here, and I don't really even have butter with most of my bread, but sometimes there's that sweet butter.
Yeah.
I could do that.
Yeah, I say fresh because the thing that makes this for me is the word fresh. And Jeff was just saying he has as a new bread maker, he votes bread. Yeah, If you have bread that is actually fresh that you just baked or you just get from someone that's just baked, it's still warm. You try to cut it open, you got to have a really good bread knife, otherwise the whole fucking thing squishes down to like an inch. And then you put some butter on there and it just fucking melts, dude. There's like almost nothing as good as that. All right, so now I got to switch to the writing thing. Don't add a signature, just do some writing. There we go. All right, so we've got apples and peanut butter going against pickles and cream cheese.
So apples and peanut butter.
Huh. I'm going to take the pickles.
All right. So Wiggum says apples.
All right, chat. I'm just apples and peanut
so
butter.
why do you pick the pickles?
No ham, just pickles and cream cheese. It doesn't matter. I'm just not really big on apples and peanut butter. But it looks like that's going to win anyway. I just, I'm not a big peanut butter guy. That's the big thing. I don't really like peanut butter that much.
Makes sense.
Like almond butter, I'm kind of okay. I don't like the texture of peanut butter. And it's all like, I don't even know how to describe it. But like the texture when you're chewing it, it's super, super dry in your mouth. And it's just, not a fan. Not a fan.
All right. Well, I think this is going to be interesting then, because I just assumed apples and peanut butter was going to whiz its way to the finals, but probably not.
No, I'm probably going to vote against it every time.
Right,
we got English muffins and jam, and Ritz crackers and pimento cheese.
See, this one is interesting, right? Because, I don't know. You tell me. I usually go first. What do you got on this one?
I'm going English muffin. Like I was kind of torn on the Oreo one, but yeah.
Yeah, I'll come with. These are close. Like they're two very different things, because like the cheese and crackers is like, hey, I'm sitting around watching this football game or this baseball game. But like the English muffin, like sometimes you just get up in the morning and you want that, and it's there.
Yeah, and the thing I love about English muffins, especially if you toast them just a little bit longer than you're supposed to, and the edges get a little bit crunchy, but it's still nice and soft on the inside. Yeah, it's good stuff. All right, let's do pretzel twist and Nutella versus banana bread and Nutella.
See, now we're kind of going. This is texture versus kind of taste contrast, because Nutella and banana bread is going to give you this same kind of like mushy-ish texture, right? And then pretzel in Nutella is going to give you that savory and sweet, and then it's going to give you kind of a crunch with the Nutella. So I am going to go, like, I love banana bread, but I've never had Nutella on my banana bread. I will also say that if you make a good banana bread, you don't need a topping for that. So I am going to go with Nutella and pretzel, because pretzels definitely could benefit from the topping more than a good banana bread would.
Yeah, I'm really torn on this one too. So, like, I love banana bread. I make banana bread, although I make a coffee cake banana bread, which is fucking amazing. It does have a topping on it. Doesn't need it, but it makes it unfucking believable. But banana bread with Nutella on it, I don't know. I kind of just like the banana bread on its own,
Right. Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Like, if you had a choice between eating banana bread on its own and just eating a pretzel on its own, you probably would choose the banana bread, right?
Yeah.
But like adding Nutella adds something to the pretzel that it doesn't add to the banana bread.
Yeah. On the flip side, I don't really like pretzels that much. And I feel like the couple, I haven't had Nutella. I've eaten Nutella like 4 times in my life, maybe. But the times that I have eaten Nutella, it was more of a sweet on sweet. It was like graham crackers and Nutella, or I pick up those little snack packs where they have those just like very slightly sweet little bready, crunchy kind of things. So yeah, I think I have to go banana bread, just because I don't really see the pretzels with Nutella. That just doesn't seem to work for me. So
all right, chat. What do you got?
Bread.
So we've got
one pretzel. We got 2 pretzels and a banana bread.
2 pretzels and a banana bread.
And then Jeff is
pretzels.
Damn, you guys let me down. All right, pretzels.
So what is it facing?
What is what facing?
Whatever this. So whichever one moves forward, what does it face?
Oh, well, Pretzel's already won, so we're moving on with Pretzels. But we've got graham crackers and peanut butter. We've got fresh bread and butter.
Okay. I think I'm gonna have to go with the bread and butter because I don't really care for graham crackers.
Yep, bread and butter's an easy one there.
I mean, now I like graham crackers in the eclair tort, but like I wouldn't just randomly pick up a graham cracker and eat it.
Yeah, I'm also not. I mean, graham crackers are good. It's not like it's not a snack I would eat now because I'm super low carb right now. But yeah, it's not a bad snack because it's not super sweet, but it's a little bit sweet. Right. So it's like better than eating a handful of fucking like Reese's Pieces or some shit. So yeah, I do like graham crackers. I never buy them though. But. All right, we've got apples and peanut butter against the English muffin and jam.
See, I know that you're going to vote for the English muffin and jam. So I guess where I'm going is I have to. So chat, throw in what you got here because I can decide if I want it to go or if I will go with Sconzi.
I already got 2 apples voted for here. I mean, you don't know what I'm voting for. Well, apples gets the vote from the chat.
So apples gets the vote for the chat. So I'm going to go with the chat just so that they can have their finalist.
All right. Just for the record, I want you all to know that you are all officially the wee random dick of the week.
Is that only because Minnesota is being saved for extra
That's
time?
right. That's right.
And
we didn't
didn't
have a
put
dick
Matt
of the
Gates
week this
on
week.
Here.
Yeah, Matt Gates is a dick of the week. Literally, apparently. All right, so this week we've got, or in this bracket, we've got the pretzel twist and Nutella versus the fresh bread and butter. I'm 100% on the bread and butter.
Yeah, I can come with you.
All right, so we got fresh bread and butter versus the apples and peanut butter. Big showdown.
Now, okay, do I get to decide what kind of bread it is?
I suppose so.
Because here's the thing. If you just handed me like a random like piece of bread and said, here's some like, I forget, like, here's some Wonder Bread and you get to put some butter on it. I'm not really that excited.
All right, here, B, I am not in any way, shape, or form trying to sway your vote. But
I already know where I'm voting, but I'm going to hear you out.
I want you to work through this situation with me. I want you to just close your eyes for a minute. Just close them. All right, close your eyes. And I want you to imagine that you're sitting at a table. And you're there with me. Me and you, we're hanging out. And we're going to have dinner. And the waiter from the Cheesecake Factory shows up and puts down that loaf of bread.
That was going to be my example, actually.
And they also put down some apples and peanut butter. What are you eating, B?
That's exactly where I was going to go, because that's where I was going with the Wonder Bread example.
Yes.
Like, if you handed me some Wonder Bread, I'd be like, eh. But if you're like, hey, you can get that bread from the Cheesecake Factory with the little things on it, sign me up.
See, we've already been there. I already knew what you were going, man. I just had to make sure you were going there.
Yeah, but there's so many good breads too. That's why I said, do I get to pick? Because, like you said, fresh baked bread and butter. Let's do it.
Yeah. All right. So there we go, chat. The spread bracket, the spread winner is the fresh bread and butter. And in the final 4, even though Brian wants to reseed this, I don't know that we should. They will be taking on the dip, which is the homemade hummus and fresh pita bread. On the other side, we've got cheddar popcorn and caramel popcorn. We're calling that the Chicago mix because that's what it's called. And that will be taking on the ice cream and brownie. So that's a heck of a final 4 we got there, Chad. Better than anything
a lot better than I thought it would be.
Much better than the NCAA will come up with, I promise. So yeah, dude, it's gonna
be tough.
This is gonna be tough. This will be interesting.
I feel like we almost need to like get some of these and then like each have some and like eat it on stream.
We could eat that on stream. And I didn't bring home any Chicago popcorn. I'll need Wiggum to deliver some or something. But yeah, so there we go, chat. That is the end of random rankings for this week. Stick around next week. We will go through the final 4 and then we'll have to find a new bracket. So that's my call to action for all of you, chat. If you're listening, if you're watching, if you're enjoying the random rankings, if you see any of these crazy brackets out there for anything, top movies of all time, best shortstops of all time, best, politicians that make you want to pull your hair out, whatever it is, shoot that our way. There's, I don't know how you can shoot it our way. Join the Discord. Wiggs, can you share that link? Join the Discord, and there's a text channel on there that is called We Random Podcast Suggestions. Just share your information in there. Post a link, post a file, let us know about it. Put it in there and let us know, because we'd love to use those ideas, and it's definitely not hobby bias. Anyway, let's move on to the extra point. We got to change one of these names because they keep confusing me. So B, give us your extra point for the week.
So my extra point for the week is just about being in touch with yourself and being in tune with how you're feeling about things. So I recently got my second vaccine dose, so I have that under my belt. Thankfully for me, things went well and I didn't have a lot of complications or challenges with that. Also, yesterday was the start of the baseball season and opening day. When I woke up, I did feel like I had a little bit of FOMO, a little bit of fear of missing out. I kind of felt sad that I'm like, oh, I'm not going to the stadium. I'm not doing XYZ. But at the same time, I was sound and confident in my decision as to why I wasn't doing that. But at the same time, I enjoyed the day. I spent the day with Sconzi and Old Man Wiggum, and we all froze around my fire pit where I still smell like smoke because fire pit. But like, I think it's good that we're taking these small steps towards what people would call normalcy, right? Like, we're doing things to move forward, we're doing things to continue to be the best people that we can be, but also the safest people that we can be, because there was a lot of stuff yesterday that wasn't as good. There were a lot of people who were out there with 30, 40 people at a party, and it's just like, ooh, like, I don't feel comfortable with that. So I did what was best for me, and I felt good about that. And I also felt good about the fact that other people did what they felt like was okay for them, because honestly, it was nice to like hear fans in the stadium and like hear real cheers and not like the Vince McMahon piped in cheers when, a big hit happened or a big pitch was thrown. So I would just say, through all of this, continue to be in tune with yourself, continue to evaluate how you're feeling, why you're feeling, and be okay with that, because life is about the ups and downs. It's about, getting up when you get knocked down. It's about continuing forward, and it's about doing the best that you can do in every day.
It's a good message. Thanks for sharing that, B. This has been a very interesting week for me. A couple different things. I'll be honest, up until 30 seconds ago, I didn't know what I was going to talk about here. Like, I legit had zero idea, but something sprung to mind. So there is, I've got a colleague who is going through a change. That is a colleague that I've worked very, very closely with for a number of years. Someone that I truly respect, someone I look up to, someone who has impacted my career immensely, impacted my life immensely. And really surprisingly, last night I got a friend request on Facebook. I normally ignore them. I think I got like 150 of them just pending because I just ignore them. But I looked at it because it had a really weird name. And as I'm scrolling through the pictures, I'm like, holy fuck, that looks like this dude that I grew up with. And I looked at the Facebook Messenger. You know how it, like, messages from people that aren't your friends, they stick into some folder somewhere? And there was a message in there, and sure as shit, it was this dude that I grew up with, guy that I haven't seen in probably 30 years or something. He's like, hey, I got your name from such and such, and I just wanted to get in touch, see how things are going, etc. So it was two very interesting situations this week, and kind of the commonality that I'm bringing that back to is the importance of recognizing people that have been in your life, people that have made a difference, people that have meant something to you, people that do mean something to you, and the importance of, before I even get to that, I want you to think about somebody in your life at any point, and hopefully you have an example of this, where somebody has very heartfelty, like they sent you a very heartfelt message to tell you how much something meant to them. Thank you for helping me with this. Thank you for being in my life. Thank you for, whatever it may be. I love you. I love how you do X, Y, and Z. And think about the way that feels, or the way that felt at that time. And think about how important that is. Think about the real, true, intimate connections that you have with other people. I can only speak for myself. I don't have a whole lot of those. I just don't. And I think it's super important if you can think about those moments when you've made a difference in someone's life, whether it's someone that you were just really good friends with, someone that you helped through a situation, maybe somebody that you mentored in a career thing, whatever the case may be. Just think about the importance of that relationship and how proud you felt. And if somebody shared that information with you, think about the emotions that you go through with that. And then I want you, this is another ask. I'm asking a lot of you this week, chat. My ask is there anybody out there that maybe you should reach out to? Is there anybody out there that maybe made a difference in your life? And this is something that when I had the honor of leading people, this was a conversation that we had a lot, and an activity that I had them go through is there somebody that's worth reaching out and saying, hey, I just want you to know that you made a huge impact in my life when you did X, Y, and Z. Or, you know what, when we used to be friends, I could always look forward to this and that. Or, hey, you are my friend and I can always rely on you for this. And think about those things. I think those things are super, super important. And you know what, if you have the opportunity to reach out to somebody, I challenge you to do that, especially in this climate, right? I mean, Brian talked about how, there are people who are out there flinging their stuff around and hanging out in groups of 50 people and blah, 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 blah. But there's a lot of us that aren't doing that. There's a lot of us who are still very, very isolated. There's a lot of people who are really lonely, and a lot of people are suffering, through a lot of mental health issues because of this. Maybe you can make a huge difference. And you know what, even if it's not a mental health situation, it still feels pretty goddamn good for someone to reach out and say, hey, you made a difference in my life. So if you get that opportunity, please do that. And to that colleague of mine who's having a very interesting week this week, I hope you get a chance to see this. And even if you don't, I very possibly might clip it out of the podcast and send it to you. But thank you for everything that you did. You made a huge impact on my career, a huge impact on my life. I care a lot about you, and I would not be the person that I am today without the help that you gave me. And I cannot thank you enough for that. And I hope whatever you move on to, whatever that next step is for you, I hope it's an amazing one. And God knows you deserve it. So maybe that was a little too personal, but that's what's on my mind today. That's all I got.
That's what the extra point is for, right? And I just want to make it clear, we still did a good job of getting us out of here by 7 p.m. So even though you don't have a commitment, you now have 7 p.m. Apex. So before we bid you adieu tonight on We Random, we want to let you know where you can find us. You can find me on Twitter at LandmarkMKE. I was actually going to talk about how I thought about deleting all of my social media accounts, but I haven't. So I'm still out there at LandmarkMKE if you want to connect with me. You can find Sconzi at Sconzi. You can find us on Facebook, Almost Qualified Productions. You can find us on Twitter, AQ_PROD. You can find Sconzi on Patreon. You can find him on this stream Monday through Friday. You can reach out to us in any way through, the internet, because if you don't have Amazon Sidewalk yet, you might have it eventually. So until then, I'm Brian. That's Christopher. Thank you for being with us on this journey. And unless Christopher has anything else he wants to say to you, we will see you next week.
See you, everybody.
Bye, everybody.